I am Noelle Butler. I am a client support specialist, so we might have chatted over email or maybe talked on the phone, but it's so great to have the opportunity to see so many of you in person and kind of remind us for the reason why we're doing the connections that we get to make with all of you and with our clients. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about ways that you can fire up your fundraising on Engaging Networks, some built-in features that allow you to optimize and bring in more dollars to your organization. So whether these features are things that you've already implemented and maybe want to take another look at, or things that you haven't heard of before, I'm hoping that you can walk away from today with at least one idea for something you might want to try out on your forms. And Sarah's presentation was such a perfect intro to mine because I think she hinted at a few things that I'm going to be covering in this presentation as well. So hopefully that's helpful. The first feature I want to talk about is one-click donations. One-click donation pages allow for your supporters to donate without needing to re-enter their credit card information. So what that means is for a donor who has already given to your organization in the past, we process their donations using a stored payment token from a previous transaction. And donors, all they need to do is select the amount of the donation. So you can see on this page right here, it's a very simplified form where they don't have to make many choices. All they have to do is select the amount and then click submit. They also have the option to change what card they're using for the transaction, if maybe that's an outdated card or maybe they want to use a different one for this donation. So we'll look a bit closer at this. To give you an idea of the general flow of one-click donations, all of the journeys will start from a supporter receiving an email. If they're a previous donor and, in other words, they have a stored payment token on file on their supporter record, when they click that link to donate to your organization, they'll be brought to the one-click page, which is, as you see, a very pared-down version of the donation form. From there, they can either choose the amount and submit it, or they can click to update their card. If they do click to update their card, they'll get flown right over to the regular version of the donation page. Their information that already pre-filled from clicking that Engaging Networks link, so things like first name, last name, email address, that information will carry right over to the regular donation form, so it kind of reduces friction there as well, so that they don't have to spend time filling out the regular form. If they come from an email and they're a non-donor or we don't have a valid payment token stored for them, then they'll just get driven to the regular donation form and they can proceed as usual. So to get started creating a one-click page in your account, you'll navigate to Pages, Components, Web Pages, and create a new web page. You'll choose Type One-Click, and then you'll have to make a few other selections, naming your one-click page, choosing what template you're going to use. These one-click pages work with either the free and flexible template if you're using one of the Engaging Networks built-in templates, or you can assign the template that you're using on your other pages as well. So you can either do the same branding, so it kind of gives your users a similar experience, or you can do something different for the one-click page. Then you'll use this blue toolbar to insert different details about the supporter. You can insert their first name if you want to greet them, like hello, Noelle, if I'm coming to the form. Then you can use the little coin icon to insert details about what the payment information that we have stored for them is, so whether that's the payment type. So in my example here, it shows a Visa is the one that's going to be charged, as well as the last 4 digits of that card, so that it's a transparency with your donors so they can see which card is going to be charged for the donation. And then finally, you can also insert your ask string, and you can choose what values you want to offer, and then there's also an option for the donor to select if they want to make a custom amount that isn't offered in the ask string. You don't have to include the submit button here. That will be automatically pulled in from the page that it's assigned to kind of match that branding. So once you've got this set up, you are good to go. The next step is finally just assigning that you want to use this one-click page on a certain donation page. So you'll navigate to the page's admin settings. You can get to that using the cog icon, either from the Pages menu or from within Page Builder. And then underneath donation settings, where it says gateway, underneath there's an option for what one-click page you want to assign. And then all you have to do is click save and it'll be active. So to go over again on the user journey, it basically always begins with a supporter receiving an email. They'll click an EN page link, and that's what allows their data to be populated on the resulting form. If there is a token stored, the one-click page will render. They can choose to either give on the one-click page, or they can update their details to submit a gift that way. If you want to see the actual flow of how this looks in real time, come and find me after. I'd love to kind of walk you through it individually so you can see how it looks to actually click around in the actual experience there. But for now, I'll just leave you with this is the general user journey, and it's a very frictionless process for inviting your donors to give again if they've given in the past. The next fundraising feature I want to talk about is a feature built into Engaging Networks called Next Suggested Gift. What this does is it allows you to display a custom donation ask string based on a supporter's giving history with your organization. You can choose to either use their highest previous contribution, which I'll call HPC, or their most recent contribution, which I'll call MRC, to build their ask string. As part of setting up Next Suggested Gift, you can choose to either use Engaging Networks organic data, so you can have Engaging Networks look at their giving history and determine their HPC or MRC from that data, or if you prefer to calculate that data outside of Engaging Networks, maybe in your CRM, you can also import that information into Engaging Networks and have it use that. So what we call Next Suggested Gift actually refers to like a single anchor value, and then what you'll do when you build your ask string is you'll build the other ask amounts in relation to that single anchor value. So in the example here, and we'll look closer at how to construct one of these strings in a second, if the supporter's either HPC or MRC is below 100, then you're going to calculate the next suggested gift, and this is all customizable, we'll look at that in a moment, using their highest previous contribution plus 100%, and that's going to be their next suggested gift. And then the ask string is all in relation to that next suggested gift. So let's hope my math brain is online today. If my previous contribution is 50, then my next suggested gift would be 50 plus 100%, which would be $100. So that's going to anchor me at 100 on the 3. Minus 50% would bring me back to 50. Plus 50% would bring me to 150. And plus 75% would bring me to 175. So hopefully that math all works out. If it didn't, you can also come and talk to me later, and we can study basic math together. So to get started using Next Suggested Gift, the first thing that you're going to do is go to your account settings and get some of the back-end work set up to make sure that you are looking at the right data in your account. So to get here, you'll go to the Hello menu at the top of your screen, Account Settings, and then there's a Previous Contribution tab on the left. You'll enable the tool first of all, and then this is when you'll choose to discover the previous contributions via either EN data or imported data. If you do choose to use Engaging Networks data, you've got a few more choices to make here. You'll want to choose for the time period that you want to look back. If you want to look at more recent information, so like maybe just looking back 12 months rather than 24 months, you can make that determination based on your file. And then finally, which types of transactions in Engaging Networks should count towards this. Maybe you want to exclude recurring gift amounts. You want to just look at single amounts. Maybe you want to include or exclude event transactions. That's up to you. You can make these choices here. Next step is probably the bulk of the work that you'll want to do is creating the actual string and what values people are going to see. From here, you'll go to Pages, Components, Next Suggested Gift, and you'll create a new ask string. You'll add suggestion rules for different gift thresholds. You can also create different rules for single and recurring giving. And then finally, you'll launch your string. So to talk a little bit deeper about this step. Essentially, the way it works is you'll set up each of the ask strings for like below a certain amount. So as we looked at in the previous example, it was like if the person's previous contribution is below 100, then do this. Then you'll build up from there. So if it's below 250, obviously 50 is both below 250 and 100, but the donor will fall into the lowest tier that they qualify for. So you'll first set up what that threshold is, then you'll set up what their actual anchor value of that next suggested gift is. You can choose some rounding settings here if you want to round it up to the nearest 1, 5, or 10. You can also round it down if you prefer. And then finally, you'll build the string. So you'll take next suggested gift if you want to go up 75% or down 50%. You can order the string in that way. And then, yeah, you'll also want to make sure you set up a mirrored string for recurring giving, as typically those amounts might look a little bit lower. So you can set up different string amounts that way. And then finally, you'll just need to launch your string. For reporting purposes, once you launch a string, you can't kind of edit that string because it'll get very confusing in the reporting how it's performed. So make sure you put some thought and time into developing what values you want, and then once you're ready to actually use it, go ahead and launch it. Finally, you'll have to assign this next suggested gift string to a donation page. So you'll just go into your form, edit the form block that contains the donation amount field. This is where you'll then choose if you want to look at the highest previous contribution or the most recent contribution. You will assign your string, and then all you have to do is save, and it's active. And then yes, the next suggested gift user journey is pretty similar to what it looks like for the one-click. At least it starts with them receiving an email. They will click an Engaging Networks page link, which is what allows their data to be populated on the resulting form. If an HPC or an MRC is found, then the next suggested gift string will load. And if no previous contribution data is found, then they'll just see the default ask string as is set up on the underlying donation page. And again, I'll just put a plug in that if you want to see this work in real time, come and find me after the presentation and we'll look at it together. Finally, I want to talk about something that Sarah mentioned, is that the upsell lightbox, which is built into Engaging Networks. What this is it essentially will display a pop-up lightbox after supporters submit their gift, asking that they make their gift recurring, or if they're already giving a recurring gift, that they increase the amount of that recurring gift. You can set custom rules defining who should see the lightbox and what upsell amounts they should be offered. So to set up an upsell lightbox, you will edit the page that you want to add the lightbox to. You can click Processing Rules and Upsell Lightbox, and this is where you can customize the image, the text, the styling. This might be where you want to put in some text about what that additional couple of dollars will do, or what making a recurring gift, what impact that will have on your organization. And then you'll also add the range and suggestion rules, so if a supporter's gift is between 0 and 100, for example, then you can prompt a recurring gift of either a percentage of their current gift, upsell them that way, or you can do a flat amount as well. Again, you have some rounding rules that you can choose in here. And then you can choose whether or not you want to enable the recurring increase. Maybe your goal is just to get more recurring donors. You don't want to offer that upsell from recurring to a higher recurring amount. But if that is an opportunity that you want to take a hold of while you have it, you can also enable that. And the upsell lightbox can also be shared across multiple pages. So if you set it up on one page and you're happy with the settings there and you want to apply it to other pages, you can really quickly go to those other pages and just load in the settings that you set up for this one. So this is what the upsell lightbox looks like up close. As you can see, there's a couple different options here. So first is it's asking, would you like to start a $5 monthly gift instead? I can either click, yep, process my monthly gift of $5, or not today, process my one-time gift of $50. So I can say, yep, I want the upsell, or no, I'd prefer to stick with what I had originally said I was going to give. There is also an X in the upper right-hand corner. If they click that, then it'll submit the original gift as well, so trying to maintain conversions there. And then finally, you're also able to set an auto-submit timer so that the original gift will automatically process if no action is taken within a set amount of time. And this is best practice, just making sure that if somebody doesn't expect that they're going to see another step in order to complete their gift, that you don't miss out on that conversion if they kind of walk away from their computer right away. And yes, again, another demo here, just in terms of what the journey looks like. Essentially, it just starts where they fill out their page as normal, they click submit. If their intended gift falls within the rules that you've set up for the upsell, then the lightbox is shown. From there, they can either choose to process their original gift or they can agree to the upsell. To finish us off here, I just want to talk about a few maybe quicker wins if you're not already implementing them in your Engaging Networks account. These are really simple things to set up that you could take an action item to walk away with today to say, oh, that's something I really want to set up in our account. The first is fee cover. This is what invites supporters to help cover the processing fees associated with the donation. You can choose to either offer a percentage of the gift or a flat amount for them to cover. You can also set a maximum fee amount, which helps to standardize the giving experience for major donors to ensure that if they're giving a pretty significant gift of, say, $10,000, that fee cover amount isn't based on a transaction, because that might be a bit scary for a major donor to see. Setting up fee cover is very simple. All you have to do is add the fee cover form field to your form block. You don't need to add it to your account data structure. It will be there by default anyway, so you can just click and drag it over to your form block, and then you'll just choose your settings. You can add a percentage, like I said, or a flat value, set your minimum or set your maximum value of the fee cover, and then you can put some text on there. I have in this example just, I would like to cover the transaction fees for this donation. And then finally, you can choose to either pre-check the box or leave it unchecked. Different organization donor bases might have different experiences, and this is another great spot that we can talk about split testing to see how your donor base interacts with if the box is pre-checked or unchecked to see which one gets more takers for if they want to cover the fees. And here's just another tip and a trick. You can use the merge tag amount total in your submit button text to dynamically update the transaction amount with the fee cover added. This is great because it gives more transparency into the donation process. So if they do choose to cover fees, they'll see exactly how much money is going to be processed to their card when they go to donate. So on the left, this is what it looks like set up in the back end with that merge tag in there. And then on the right, just got a little animation here of what it looks like to actually tick and see the amount change and untick and see it go back to what it was. And then finally, just wanted to put a plug in also for split testing donation pages, as Sarah talked about. Using the split test page type, you can serve supporters different versions of a donation form to see which one performs better. The tool will automatically round robin your supporters to one of the pages until you determine the winner. You can also choose the winning criteria, so the system will auto-select the winning page, and we'll look at how that looks in just a second. So to create a split test, you'll go to Pages, Create Page, and Split Test. Assign the pages that you want to test, and then you'll determine the winner settings. So if you want to just select the winner yourself, you'll just set the split test live, and then you'll come back and choose which one is going to be the final version of the form once you see how they're performing. But if you want to have Engaging Networks determine it automatically, you'll enable that automatic selection of the winner. You'll put in a delay criteria for how many page views you want the page to get before it determines a winner. And then the winner criteria will be determined by how many people actually convert that page, finish donating. Then what you'll do is you'll share that single split test page URL with supporters. They'll automatically be directed to the version of the form that they're going to be served to see how it performs. And then once a winner is selected, that single split test page URL will automatically, in perpetuity, direct to the winning page. So you don't have to change your links or change anything once you've already sent out your communications to your supporters. Finally, I just wanted to plug a few exciting things coming down the pipeline with Engaging Networks. Coming up in November of this year, we'll be releasing a new tool called Smart Pages, which are kind of pre-optimized donation forms. So include a lot of the things that I talked about here today just as an out-of-the-box modal form so that you can kind of get the best of both worlds when it comes to Engaging Networks, doing the heavily customized, very personal to your organization forms. And then on the other side, you can also have these more templated, really quick and easy to set up pages that have some decisions pre-made so that you're optimizing the amount of money that you're raising from your donors. And if you want any help or you just want to say, oh, I heard you say this one thing and I want to know more about that, you can always find me at the support email. You'll either talk to me or another one of our great team members there. And we are always happy to help just kind of bounce ideas off of if you're working on setting some of these things up, or we can actually, we'd always be happy to walk you through actually setting them up on a call together for some one-on-one time. So just let us know, and I hope this was helpful.
Thank you, Noelle. That was amazing. This is one thing I always loved about coming to this conference when I was a client, was these very specific takeaways that I could try literally the next day when I got back to work. So thank you. We have some questions. I think these are all about one-click donations. So we'll see what we can answer. But I did put a question out to our product team as you were talking, and I haven't received a response yet. But will we be offering monthly donations with the one-click functionality? Right now, it's not available, but I'm actually not sure if that's something that's on the roadmap. Are you?
I haven't heard of that, but I think that's really valuable feedback, and we'd be happy to pass that along to our team as well.
Yep. Obviously, if you're looking to grow your monthly donors, you can easily default a form to monthly giving, and then just email directly, put that in an email with the link directly to monthly giving if that's what you're looking to do. And you can also use the Upsell Lightbox. So there are definitely ways to grow your monthly file with some of our tools. What is the optimum time for the auto submit function? And I'm thinking this is referring to one click. I don't know.
I think it's talking about the Upsell Lightbox in terms of how
maybe.
quickly it'll auto submit. That's a great question. I would really be interested in hearing from clients that are using that feature and see if they've fine-tuned what that looks like. I think I've probably seen it mostly land around the 10-second mark. I feel like that's enough time for typically a supporter to read through, see what's being asked of them, and then choose to say yes or no. And then if they don't say yes or no within that time, then the original gift will process anyway. So yeah, it's a great thing.
All right. Thank you, Noelle. Amazing work.